This video will be outlining how to build a template on Field Eagle system. I'll be giving you a walkthrough and showing you all the different components that are available whilst using the Field Eagle tool. So the first thing to do is in our dashboard, you go to Data Management, and at the very bottom you'll see Templates. Click on that. Now we'll click on Add a new template. So now we start to input all the information that we need for the template. So I'm going to input the name, and this one will be called Reclaimer Inspection. So I'll be categorizing this. In this case, I'll be putting preventative maintenance. And then I will change the type, which will be maintenance in this case. You can also add a description if you need to. In this case, I won't be. So once you've input all the information, you can then go ahead and click Add and Build a Template. It will now bring you to the template builder, which is currently empty. We're going to start entering all the information that we need. What you see here are all the different tools that are available to help you build a template. So this tool right here is Add Parent Item. Next to it is Add Child Item. The template builder is focused on building parent items and child items and creating questions and answers to each item so that the inspector out on the field can have access to all the different questions that they'll need in order to complete the inspection. I'm going to click Add Parent Item. This particular template will be for a reclaimer stacker machine for preventative maintenance. So I'm going to click that Add Parent Item button. I'm going to call this Reclaimer. And again, we can put a description, but I won't need to in this case. I'm going to categorize it. And these are all my pre-populated categories that I previously created. So I'm going to select Structural. If I'd like to add a tag here, I could. I can also add a tag here, which helps search for things within the Field Eagle system. So I'm going to add the tag machine here. I can also upload a picture. So I'm going to click Browse, look for the photo that I need, which is this one right here. And you can see it's uploaded. I can also add documents to this particular item. I can also do that. You just follow the same process by clicking Browse. So for this particular parent item, I don't want to add any questions. I want to add all my items beneath this. So I want this reclaimer item to be the parent. So I will now create child items of this reclaimer. So I'm going to click Add a Child Item. So you can now see the color is different and it's structured differently, and you can tell the difference between the two. So I'm going to name this one Bucket Wheel. And then I'm going to add another child item beneath this, and I'm going to call this Tripper Conveyor. So then I'm going to add another child item, and this one I'm going to call Boom Conveyor. And so now I'm going to add one more called Mechanism. So now that I've started my template, I have all of my child items under my parent item. But now I realize that perhaps I want to structure it slightly differently, and I want to add some more detail underneath one of these items. So for Bucket Wheel, I want to add all of the items that will be required to be inspected, but I want them to be under just this item. So I select that item, then I select Add a Child Item. Then you can see it adds a child item to the bucket wheel. So then I'll change the name of this child item, or sub-child item if you will, to Front Bucket. And then I can add another child item. So I'm just continuing to add some items underneath the bucket wheel child item. These have now become sub-child items of the bucket wheel child item. So now I have all my parent items, my child items, and my sub-child items, but now I've realized I want the back bucket to be a part of the front bucket. So I can select the back bucket, and I want it to be a sub-child item. So I can click that arrow, and it makes it a sub child item of that specific one, but I realize I don't want that one, so then I can move that over. So it now creates a hierarchy of sub-child items of each one. So if I close that, it will close that one underneath, and so on. But they are all interconnected. So as you're building your hierarchy, you're organizing the data to be structured in the way your machine would, for example. So the next step is to go to your item and begin to add items to it, such as questions and notes. In this case, I'm going to select bucket wheel. I'm going to change the category here again to structural. Again, if I want to upload an image, I can do that. So I'm going to do that. Find that reclaimer image again. Then I'm going to go to the questions tab. So here I can add all the questions that I need to be answered by the inspector on the field. So to add a question, I'm going to click add a new question. And so now I'm going to start inputting all my questions that I need to be answered during the inspection process. So once I've input my question, we've got a sliding scale here of how important this question is. So if it's really important, we can make it 100. If it's not so important, we can make it just leave it at 1. This is based on how important the question is to your inspection process. So here I'm going to select a governed body and a related standard that belongs to that governed body. Then the question category, you select which one you want to make available. So this is where you're going to select whether it's going to be a checkbox, a drop down for the inspector to answer the question. For this particular one, I'm going to select a generic checkbox for pass or fail. So if I had any instructions, I would also input them there to help make the inspection process simpler for the inspector. Again, if I have any related documents, I can also attach them through a similar process as before, but this time it looks at the documents that have already been uploaded onto the system, and so I can select the relevant item for this particular question. Once I've selected the document that I want to attach, I'm going to go to the bottom and hit OK, hit close, and it will take you back to the main page of creating a question. Once we're done with this question, I'm going to hit save question, and you can see I'll add it to a list of questions for that particular item. And the next step is to continue adding questions. So I'm going to add another question. And again, we can use that sliding scale, but this time I'm going to make it very important. Select the regulatory body, select the related standard, and also the question category. So this time I'm going to select a generic compliant or non-compliant checkbox. Again, save question. And you can see I'll continue to add the questions to that particular item. You can add as many questions as you want. You can also copy questions over if you need to, especially if you're going to have multiple questions that are the same for multiple items. If you want to duplicate a template item, you can do that here as well. So in this case, I would say I want 3 copies of this item. So I'm going to create those copies. You can see it'll automatically number them accordingly. If you want to change that, you can do that. But in this case, I'll leave it and then I'll press save. And now you can see it's created 3 more buckets underneath the reclaimer parent item. So I wanted 4 different bucket items, but I didn't want to create them individually, so I used the duplicate template item option. You can see in the item category, I'm creating generic checkboxes. These are going to be the answer options for the inspectors out in the field. So once you've created all of your items, you can continue organizing them as you wish. You can move things up and down if you've made a mistake. You can also delete items from the hierarchy. You can search items. You can copy items, move them manually, and you can also preview the template. So if I select this item, it will take me to the screen. It will take me to this screen, and if I select each one of these items, it will show me what information I've input into individual items. So for this one, I had a photo. For this one, we have the questions, and it shows me the answer options. So it's important to note that there are no limit to the amount of subchild items that you can have per parent item. Likewise with questions, as I previously mentioned, but there is no limit to the amount of child items that you can create in Field Eagle. So as you can see, I've gone through and reorganized my item hierarchies, and you'll see that the system actually keeps an ongoing total of how many items that you have. But you can have as many items as you want. Some templates can go from 800 items to up to 3,000. So it truly depends on your needs and your inspections. Once you've finished and you input all the information into your template, click Save Template. And that was how to build a template in the Field Eagle system.